Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve success effortlessly, while others struggle despite working hard? What if the secret isn't just in working harder, but in how you think, act, and live every single day? Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because today we're uncovering Jim Rohn's 5 pillars of success for life and wealth. A roadmap that can transform not just your career, but your entire life. 1. Philosophy, the foundation of your success. Your philosophy is your lens on life. It is the framework through which you interpret events, assign meaning to experiences, and decide what matters most. Think of it as the compass that points you in a particular direction. It doesn't matter how fast you move or how hard you work. If your compass is set in the wrong direction, you will only get further away from where you truly want to be. Every decision you make, every relationship you build, and every outcome you experience is influenced by this hidden but powerful system of beliefs. The question is not whether you have a philosophy. You do. The question is whether it is serving you, strengthening you, and guiding you toward the kind of success you want to achieve. Take a moment and reflect. Do you see challenges as insurmountable obstacles or as stepping stones that can elevate you to higher levels of growth? The answer to this question reveals more than just your outlook. It reveals the very essence of your philosophy. If your philosophy is one of limitation, then setbacks will break you. But if your philosophy is one of possibility, then setbacks will become lessons, opportunities, and even blessings in disguise. This is why some people crumble under pressure while others rise to the occasion. The difference is not in their intelligence or resources, but in the philosophy that fuels their response to life. Developing a powerful philosophy requires intentional thought. Begin with the belief that growth is possible, that learning never ends, and that effort compounds over time. These are not motivational cliches, they're timeless truths. Consider the great thinkers, inventors, and leaders of history. They were not necessarily the smartest or most privileged, but they were anchored by a philosophy that allowed them to endure rejection, failure, and hardship until they succeeded. They believed in progress, in persistence, and in the value of their vision. That belief system became their shield against discouragement and their fuel in the face of fatigue. Remember also that success is not just about money. Wealth without a guiding philosophy often leads to emptiness, disconnection, and even self-destruction. True success is about building a life of purpose, influence, and contribution. It is about creating harmony between your values and your actions. If your philosophy is centered on integrity, generosity, and growth, then your success will be both sustainable and fulfilling. Without such a foundation, external accomplishments will feel hollow. To strengthen your philosophy, expose yourself to great ideas. Read books that challenge your assumptions. Engage in conversations with people who think differently from you. Journal about your values, your principles, and the legacy you want to leave behind. By doing this, you refine your lens on life. Over time, you will notice that your decisions become clearer, your resilience becomes stronger, and your results become greater. In the end, your philosophy is the root of your success. Everything else, your habits, your discipline, your relationships, your career, grows out of it. If the root is weak, the tree will not survive. But if the root is strong, storms cannot shake it. Begin today by asking yourself what philosophy you want to live by, and then commit to aligning your actions with that guiding vision. The person who cultivates an unstoppable philosophy becomes unstoppable themselves. 2. Attitude, the energy you bring. If philosophy is the foundation, then attitude is the energy that powers everything you build on top of it. Attitude is not just a mood you carry, it is the emotional tone of your life. It is the atmosphere you create around yourself, and it is contagious. Think about the people you know who radiate positivity and determination. Simply being around them lifts you. Now think about those who complain, criticize, and dwell on negativity. Being around them drains you. The truth is, your attitude either attracts opportunities or repels them. It has been said that success is 80% attitude and only 20% aptitude. Skills and knowledge are important, but without the right mindset, they have little impact. An individual with limited knowledge but unshakable optimism will often outpace a genius crippled by self-doubt and negativity. Why? Because attitude determines persistence, and persistence beats talent when talent gives up. The difference between those who succeed and those who stop halfway is rarely their level of intelligence. It is their ability to keep moving forward with the right energy when others would quit. The beauty of attitude is that it is entirely within your control. You cannot control every circumstance of your life, but you can control the meaning you assign to it and the energy you bring to it. When something difficult happens, you can decide to interpret it as unfair, or you can choose to see it as training. When someone criticizes you, you can shrink in insecurity, or you can choose to see it as feedback. This shift is not easy at first, but with practice, it becomes second nature. Attitude is a decision you make every single day. It is waking up and asking, will I see the possibilities or only the problems? Will I choose gratitude or complaint? Will I focus on action or excuses? These small decisions compound. Over weeks, months, and years, they shape your entire life. A consistently optimistic attitude creates resilience. A consistently negative one creates stagnation. Another important truth is that your attitude does not just affect you, it affects everyone around you. If you lead a team, your attitude sets the tone for the culture. If you are a parent, your attitude shapes the emotional climate of your home. If you are a friend or partner, your attitude influences the people you love most. A single person's energy can uplift or poison an entire environment. That is why cultivating a positive, resilient attitude is not only a personal responsibility, but also a contribution to those around you. The good news is that attitude can be trained. Just as you can train your body through exercise, you can train your mind through deliberate practice. Start by practicing gratitude every day. List the things you are thankful for. Train your focus on solutions instead of problems. Surround yourself with people who fuel your optimism rather than drain it. Avoid toxic environments where negativity is the norm. When you stumble, and you will, remind yourself that setbacks are not permanent. They are feedback, not failure. Ultimately, attitude is the invisible magnet that draws success toward you. It is the reason opportunities seem to find certain people while bypassing others. The truth is, opportunities are drawn to energy, enthusiasm, and resilience. Skill may open the first door, but attitude will keep the door open long enough for you to step through it. Choose optimism over negativity, resilience over despair, and action over excuses. Do this consistently, and you will discover that your attitude alone creates possibilities that talent alone cannot.
3. Activity, turning ideas into action. Philosophy gives you direction, attitude gives you energy, but activity is the bridge that transforms both into results. Without action, even the best ideas remain trapped in the realm of theory. Too many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect level of confidence. In reality, success is not built on waiting, it is built on doing. The world does not reward intentions, it rewards results. And results come from activity, consistent, focused, and purposeful activity. Think about the people you admire. They are not admired because they had brilliant ideas alone. They are admired because they acted on those ideas, tested them in reality, and persisted long enough to create something meaningful. Activity is what separates dreamers from achievers. However, not all activity is equal. There is a difference between being busy and being productive. Many people confuse motion with progress. They fill their days with endless tasks, emails, and distractions, yet accomplish little of real significance. True success requires intentional activity, working on the few priorities that actually move the needle. Ask yourself, what are the 3 most important actions I can take today that will move me closer to my vision? Then, focus relentlessly on those and let go of the rest. Discipline is the secret ingredient here. It is easy to act when you feel inspired, but consistent activity requires the discipline to move forward even when motivation is absent. The athlete trains even when they don't feel like it. The writer writes even when inspiration is low. The entrepreneur makes the call even when rejection is likely. This ability to act despite discomfort is what creates extraordinary results over time. Another key aspect of activity is momentum. Small actions, repeated consistently, create momentum that builds into massive outcomes. Writing 1 page a day becomes a book. Making 1 phone call a day becomes a thriving business. Saving a small amount consistently becomes wealth. Momentum multiplies effort, but it only begins when you take the first step. Perfection is not required, only action. To maximize your activity, eliminate distractions. Modern life is full of noise. Social media, endless notifications, trivial obligations. These drain your time and scatter your focus. If you want to turn ideas into results, you must protect your attention like a precious resource. Set clear boundaries, create dedicated time for deep work, and learn to say no to what does not serve your vision. Every hour spent on distraction is an hour stolen from your potential. Remember, too, that activity is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Success is rarely the result of one massive action, but rather the cumulative effect of countless small actions performed with consistency. Do not underestimate the power of daily effort. The compound effect of small, purposeful actions over time is unstoppable. At the end of the day, success requires more than dreaming, planning, or hoping. It requires doing. Activity is the great equalizer. You may not control your starting point, your circumstances, or your resources, but you do control your actions. Take them with intention, persistence, and discipline, and you will find that the gap between where you are and where you want to be begins to close. Remember, activity without direction is just motion. Activity with purpose is power.
4. Results. Measuring your progress. Activity by itself is not enough because motion without measurement can often disguise itself as progress while leaving you no closer to your goals. Results are the mirror that reflects whether your efforts are aligned with your desired outcome. When you measure outcomes, you can clearly see what is working and what is not, and this clarity allows you to refine your path forward. Too many people remain trapped in the illusion of being busy, constantly moving, working, and exhausting themselves without ever pausing to ask, is this activity bringing me closer to the results I want? Without results, activity is just noise, while results are the music of achievement. They are the feedback loop that keeps you from wasting time, energy, and life itself on things that don't matter. Measuring progress requires both honesty and humility. You must be willing to look at your efforts without self-deception and accept the reality of where you stand. This is why the practice of journaling, tracking, or reviewing metrics regularly is so powerful. It removes the fog of self-delusion and forces you to confront the truth. Are you truly advancing, or are you merely repeating the same ineffective patterns? The numbers, the outcomes, the visible changes, these are all evidence, and evidence cannot be argued with. It may not always flatter your ego, but it will always serve your growth if you let it. The Stoics often reminded themselves not to chase appearances, but to evaluate substance. Results are the substance, while mere activity is the appearance. Results are also meant to be celebrated. Every small win, every sign of growth deserves recognition. When you take time to notice progress, no matter how small, you build momentum and reinforce belief in your own capabilities. This is not about arrogance, but about gratitude for the steps you've taken.
Each little milestone is proof that you are moving in the right direction. Conversely, failures should not be treated as devastating blows, but as vital data points in your journey. When you fall short, you are not simply failing, you are learning. You are collecting valuable information that shows you how to adjust and refine your actions. Failure without reflection is wasted pain, but failure with reflection becomes fuel for future success. To measure results effectively, you must also determine what truly matters. Not every outcome deserves equal weight. Some results are distractions, vanity metrics that look impressive but mean nothing in the long run. Others are core indicators that determine whether your efforts are bringing you closer to your ultimate vision. This is why clarity of purpose is essential. When you know your priorities, you can separate the noise from the signal, the superficial from the substantial. Ask yourself, what outcomes would make the biggest difference in my life? What results align with my deepest goals and values? When you define success clearly, you can measure it accurately. And when you measure it accurately, you can achieve it consistently. Ultimately, results are not about perfection, but about direction. The purpose of measuring progress is not to shame yourself, but to guide yourself. Just as a sailor constantly adjusts the sails according to the wind, you must constantly adjust your actions according to your results. If you're off course, admit it and correct it. If you are on course, keep steady and increase your speed. This dynamic process of action, measurement, reflection, and adjustment is the essence of personal mastery. Never settle for mediocrity when excellence is within reach. By making results your compass, you ensure that your journey leads to meaningful achievements rather than wasted years. In the end, the measure of your progress is not how much you have done, but how much of what you have done truly matters.
5. Lifestyle, the ultimate reflection of success. Your lifestyle is the most visible and undeniable proof of your philosophy, your values, and the results of your actions. It is not merely about the possessions you own or the wealth you accumulate, it is about the quality of your daily existence. A successful lifestyle is built on freedom, health, meaningful relationships, and balance. If your philosophy is sound and your actions are aligned, your lifestyle will naturally reflect that. Conversely, if there is a gap between what you claim to value and the way you actually live, the truth will always be visible in the way your life feels and appears. To put it simply, your lifestyle tells the story of your success or failure more loudly than your words ever could. True lifestyle success cannot be measured solely in money. Wealth alone, without freedom, health, or peace of mind, is nothing but a gilded prison. A person who is rich in finances but poor in spirit, strained in relationships, or chained to obligations they despise cannot be said to be living well. The Stoics consistently warned against mistaking externals for true good. They reminded us that the greatest wealth is a content mind, a disciplined body, and harmonious relationships. Therefore, the lifestyle worth pursuing is one that integrates both external achievement and internal tranquility. Ask yourself honestly, does my daily life reflect the success I claim to desire? Am I living in alignment with my values, or am I betraying them for temporary gains? The answers to these questions reveal far more than your bank account ever could. Designing a lifestyle is an intentional act, not an accidental outcome. It requires conscious choices, deliberate habits, and constant refinement. Every habit you cultivate, every relationship you nurture, and every boundary you enforce contributes to the architecture of your daily life. If you neglect your health, your lifestyle will eventually show it. If you ignore your relationships, your lifestyle will feel empty regardless of material comfort. If you allow work to consume you entirely, your lifestyle will lose balance and richness. To live successfully is not to chase one extreme, whether wealth, fame, or pleasure, but to weave together the many threads of human flourishing into a balanced tapestry. Freedom, purpose, health, and love are not luxuries. They are the pillars of a truly successful life. Relationships in particular form one of the clearest reflections of your lifestyle. The quality of your interactions, the strength of your friendships, and the intimacy of your family bonds all reveal whether you are living in alignment with what truly matters.
No one can claim a successful lifestyle while being surrounded by shallow or toxic relationships. As the old wisdom goes, a house is not a home unless love dwells there. Likewise, no career achievement or financial gain can compensate for loneliness, broken trust, or estrangement. Therefore, nurturing meaningful relationships is not a secondary pursuit. It is central to a life well lived. A life filled with genuine connection radiates success more authentically than any display of wealth ever could. Ultimately, your lifestyle is both the journey and the destination. It is not something you postpone until after you make it. It is something you construct day by day, choice by choice. Every morning routine, every meal, every conversation, every decision adds to the architecture of the life you are living. This is why designing your lifestyle consciously is the ultimate act of success. Don't settle for existing. Design a life that feels worth living. Don't merely survive each day. Create a rhythm of living that fills you with gratitude, energy, and meaning. Success is not only about reaching milestones, but about creating a life where the journey itself is satisfying. The final test of success is this: if you had to live your current lifestyle forever, would you be content? If the answer is no, then it is time to realign, redesign, and recreate a life that reflects not only what you want, but who you truly are. Success isn't a mystery. It's a blueprint. By mastering your philosophy, attitude, activity, results, and lifestyle, you can unlock a life of wealth, purpose, and fulfillment. Take action today, and remember, the journey to success starts with you. If you found this valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights to transform your life.